This video is sponsored by MPB. Welcome back to another episode of Books, and today I have to say thank you. Thank you, one, for the amazing feedback on the last video on The Americans by Robert Frank, and then two, for all the recommendations. I've learned so much from all you guys' feedback. It was really incredible. And from that feedback, I've chosen today's subject, Alone Street by Gregory Crewdson, and this is my first Crewdson book, so I'm very excited, even though I know his work. And I think there's a lot we can take from this book, but also from general aspects of Mr. Crewdson's career. And so that's what the focus of this video is going to be about. So I wanted to say that, before we dive into it, don't forget to leave your feedback, your recommendations for the next episodes, and of course a like if you enjoy this type of content. So with that being said, grab a drink, make yourself comfortable, and let's go straight to another video. One would think that photography is not a solitary act when it comes to Gregory Crewdson. However, much like we would judge the work of a filmmaker who works with large crews to produce a film based on his or her vision, we can look at Gregory Crewdson's work in a similar light. Much like a director, Crewdson combines resources and people in order to produce his work based on his vision and intentions. And an easy way we can see this is by doing a simple exercise. If someone were to give you a bunch of photos and say pick the ones you think would belong to Gregory Crewdson, you probably would be able to correctly identify his work. And that is because his work has a certain uniqueness about it. Its concentration on storytelling is undeniable. And when Crewdson himself describes what he does, he says that to start with, I'm a storyteller and I use pictures to tell that story. And he goes on to add that I'm certainly not one of those kind of photographers who always has the camera. He's always ready to take the picture, and so when I'm on location scouting or planning a picture, I never have a camera with me. I'm just looking and trying to imagine what the story might be. And if you wonder how this all started for Crewdson, from what I could gather, it was while attending the Yale University School of Art that he worked on a series for his master's thesis that involved portraits of the residents of the area of Lee in Massachusetts, where his family owned a holiday cabin. And it was while working on this project that he imagined and started sketching what would later become his first most popular body of work, named Natural Wonders, which was produced between 1992 and 1997. And this combined photos of birds, insects, and mutilated body parts in domestic or everyday life situations, presented of course in a very surreal fashion. And this suburban surrealism, tied with ideas of loneliness, existentialism, dreams, with a certain degree of fantasy and onirism, expressed via color, dramatic light, and voyeuristic perspectives, is a style for which he became known for, especially with the completion of later projects such as Hover between 1995 and 1997, Dreams of Life 1999, Fireflies 2006, Beneath the Roses 2008, and others. And so Alone Street is a monograph that combines two bodies of work by Mr. Gregory Crewdson, and that is a Cathedral of the Pines from 2016, and then An Eclipse of Moths from 2020. And basically, I have to say, just a brief note, I really know that this probably might not be important for a lot of you, but for me it is kind of like from the experience of seeing and, like touching the book. It's very nice to have like different textures, and the book has different textures, different sort of like debossed and embossed sort of like lettering and different types of paper. And in the end as well of the book, there's like different photos, production stills, and you can see like what goes into making these photos, the amount of people involved, the equipment, and etc., which I think is very interesting because you get kind of like a glimpse at the backstage of all the work you've seen before. And so yeah, I just wanted to say that. And of course, like looking at this book, there's an incredible sort of attention to details and colors and, different contrasts, very dramatic light. And there's this obviously focus in like the small American town, some details suggesting like more like post-industrial sort of world. And, I like that. And I feel like this is a recurrent sort of situation, theme that we see in Gregory Crewdson's work. And so with that being said, there's a lot to be taking from this book. And I'm going to be, for the next chapters, talking about storytelling in photography and how lessons we can take from this book on that level, but also like the importance of framing the human figure. And much like Gregory Crewdson, I've been accumulating experience as a photographer over the years, and I've seen, experienced, and learned a whole lot about different cultures, people, and created a lot of memories that I've captured with many different cameras and setups. And it was all important for my growth as a person, but also as a creative and a photographer. And that's why I feel that it's important to experience different things and deal with different equipment to become more versatile in every aspect of what we do. And when it comes to that, my friends at MPB have been a reliable source of experience by providing me with good deals that have allowed me to try out lenses, cameras, and even accessories. And so when you look at their website, there's this easy to access catalog with a whole range of equipment that's affordable and in great condition. So whether you're getting ready for a trip, preparing a new film or photography project, or simply wanting to upgrade from your current setup, have a look at MPB, where you can buy, sell, or trade your equipment in a very easy, fast, and trustworthy way. And I'd like to thank MPB for sponsoring this segment, and now let's go back to the video. I'm very much aligned with a single moment. I don't have much interest in what happens before and after. It's a very kind of condensed narrative. It's a story that asks more questions than it answers. And I consider that limitation a strength because I fully invest in a single moment to make it as mysterious and beautiful as I can. These were the words of Gregory Crewdson when it comes to describing the type of photography he practices. And this example of the single moment condensed narrative shows us that the power of photography in fact resides in one of its bigger limitations. And that is, by being limited to a moment or one frame, we can create the most powerful stories by condensing feelings, ideas, moods, speculations, and stories in one solitary moment. And just like Crewdson said, the type of photography he practices leaves us more often than not with more questions than answers. So the lesson here is to take advantage of this moment, the one image at a time limitation, to explore the frame to the fullest in terms of storytelling. Because by condensing the narrative, we are leaving room for the viewer to come in looking at our picture with his or her subjectivity and either read in between the lines or connect with that picture at a certain level based on their own personal experiences. And in here also comes the importance of one of the best human qualities in my opinion, and that is the capacity that we all have to relate either with each other's experiences or by experiencing similar feelings and ideas. So a great lesson for us photographers here is to take advantage of this relatability to build a bridge with the viewer. And still in this point of storytelling, I think it's important to whatever narrative that we may build to talk about the importance of recurrent themes. And we've discussed this before when we talk about style, that it's important to have current themes, but themes are also important when it comes to understanding and practicing better storytelling. And when looking at Alone Street, there's still small American town motifs, a feel of loneliness, this feeling of coldness which is translated in colors, contrasts, art direction, weather elements such as fog or colder seasons of the year, which in fact support the type of storytelling and ideas being touched on by these images. It's evident when working at Gregory Crewdson's photography that location plays a great part, and when talking about framing the human figure, which is what this chapter is about, we have to place in consideration its surroundings, and that is, of course, place and time. Now, place means location, but how do we address time? I believe that in this particular example, we would be talking about art direction, and it's interesting to observe that Crewdson deliberately subtracts any indicators of contemporary life, which puts us in a limbo of space and time. And about this, he said in an interview that it's very important for me that everything feels ordinary in my pictures and nothing spectacular, because I'm trying to create something beautiful from that. So I want a sort of tension between the drabness of the scene and the beauty of the picture. So there's that use of light and color to transform and make it in its own way spectacular, kind of like a spectacular drabness. And this is something I've learned with watching a lot of filmmakers like Andrei Tarkovsky or Ingmar Bergman and photographers like Crewdson or Joel Sternfeld, and that is the importance of spatial and temporal references and when to use them and when not to use them. And in particular with my photography, I've purposely left out references because I want the viewer to focus on what he or she is feeling and what the picture is telling them. And so with that being said, framing the human figure is something we can learn through Gregory Crewdson, and in particular the dramatics of it, by exploring facial expression, gesture, or even the way someone stands, their posture if it's more leaned forward or laid back, and what is that communicating to us and also within the frame itself. So it's quite interesting to see that people are often equilibrating the visual scale in Gregory Crewdson's photos, and the key here would be experimenting if you're into this type of photography, and with that let your instinct and intention guide you. So this has been all for today. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. It means a lot. Thank you for all the positive feedback on the latest videos. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to say, just to end this episode, let us not forget of the importance of inspiration. And so with all my videos, or at least I always try to leave you inspired, leave you with some sort of information that can lead you to pursuing something else that might change you or for the good, and might introduce different challenges in your life that might be interesting. And so yeah, I try to do that with myself, and I try to do that with you guys, and I hope to say, my intention was to say that for you guys to continue that on with other people, and to keep on being inspiring, and sort of like look at books and other sources of inspiration and share that with people, and kind of like promote like some more like a talk with people about photography and things that really matter in photography. And yeah, I guess that it's been all for today. If you'd like to grab a print, they're currently on sale on my website as well, so you can check that down below. And I'm finishing this print run, and then I'll be working on a new one. And so I guess that, you know, if you would like to grab one, you're more than welcome to. And I'll see you here for another video very soon, so stay safe, keep shooting film, digital, whatever you do. Subscribe for a cookie, a donut, another type of cake, and peace.